Hello everybody. So if you are on this video, most likely I assume that you saw the previous video, and if not, I'll definitely suggest that you look at the prior videos to this. It's pretty much building up to what we are now. If not, you can still follow through with this video so you can get a hint and an idea of what you can do to ground yourself in your life. Now, I don't want to waste any more time. I want to move on to the techniques that you can be using to develop your grounding work so you can work on your healing process. Or if anything is coming up, or learning how to deal with intense times, either that be emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or physically. So with that, let's move forward. Now, when it comes to grounding, I like to start off with the basics, the very basics, the physical part, the physical aspect of you. And that is, not only in just being able to develop your sensitivity in your body and being able to pick it and sense it up, but being able to ground that. And in grounding the energy in our body and grounding our mind and our spirit sometimes means that we have to learn how to work with the body. I call doing body work. Either that be in breathing techniques, stretching. I found that stretching is very powerful and that it helps us to integrate higher energies in our bodies. It helps us to circulate our energy in the body so we could become more fully here. And not just that, sometimes some things such as back massaging. I noticed that when I had worked on people's backs, that people had suppressed memories and feelings in their body. So when it comes to body work such as breathing techniques, exercise, yoga, massaging, foot rubs, whatever you want to call it, these things can help in grounding ourselves and at least centering our minds. What I would suggest is that you find a small routine. It doesn't have to be much. I do a simple stretch in the morning. I stretch my arms, I stretch my legs. I do this with my neck, and that's just about it. I can feel the energy flowing. I will suggest do at least up to 15 to 20 minutes of holding a position just to get the energy flowing. And as you're doing this, if you want to work on your sensitivity, focus on the sensations going on. You don't have to, because this is a grounding technique video, but with that, you can focus on that. The second thing I would say is developing your breathing work, your breathing technique. And in regards to developing your breathing technique, you are learning to really center and focus here in the present moment. You're connecting with the body and also getting rid of any toxins that may be in your blood or whatever. You're helping the body to digest, to be focused, to be centered here, to be able to process any energy that you may not be aware of. So with that, you can go on Google to go further into that. I may talk about breathing work in another video. There's a ton of videos and content about that, but I'm just throwing you out there some ideas. The next thing I like to do, like I mentioned, yoga. Yoga is another thing along with stretching that you can use and do. And with yoga, you learn to actually work on certain energetic centers in the body. And when we are able to exercise certain energetic centers in our body, it helps us to not only release that suppressed energy, but also help ground our energy here. As you ground your energy here, you learn to work with your higher energies that you might not even be aware of. So with that, that's just pretty much it. The next grounding technique I would like to discuss is diet. Now, this is not necessarily a technique, but for many of us, it is a technique in regards to developing a diet that's best for you. Now, everybody don't have the same diet, so you actually have to explore and discover what works best for you. But I will say that from my previous experience, I had discovered that I was sensitive to gluten products, that the gluten was causing issues and inflammation in my body, preventing my higher energies from being able to interact with me, and also preventing me from actually bringing unhealed stuff to the surface. So I have a lot of conflict and things happening because the gluten was getting in the way of my healing process. And once I stopped the gluten, it became much easier for my higher energies to enter and help me to process all of this stuff. I became much more sensitive than what I would have liked, but it is what it is. So with that, when it comes to eating and having a healthy diet, that also assists and supports us and being grounded physically here, and not only just grounded physically but also grounded mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because healthy foods, and I like to more do or say specifically vegetables or green foods, definitely provide a life force energy. But not just that, they also interact with the brain. Foods and the diet is connected to the brain, so it helps to stabilize our brain, help us to get rid of bacteria, or when you drink probiotics. I do drink a lot of probiotics, and that's the next one. Healthy eating and taking in foods and high energy food, like they call it, helps us to break down any negative energies that might be in our body, or even fuel us when we are weak. And sometimes our body needs these things, so I would definitely suggest doing a checkup on your diet, taking out certain things and see how you feel. And you must give yourself time when you take out certain things, at least 5 days. It takes about a week to 2 weeks for inflammation to die down, so you have to give yourself a long enough to see what's going on. A lot of people are becoming sensitive to gluten these days. It's, while it may seem like a trend, some people actually are developing a lot of gluten sensitive issues. So I wasn't always, or didn't have this problem. It just occurred like probably within the past 2 years, and it caused so much havoc in my body. But I'm aware now, I stay away with it, and I realize the spiritual implications it done. I will also suggest, once you get onto this track, learning to eat grounding foods. Now for me, grounding foods are more like potatoes, foods that are root based, things that grow underneath the ground, sometimes starches, certain starches. Not everybody can eat the same starches, but for me, it works well for me is sweet potatoes, but I can also do regular potatoes. I do eat rice, even though it can be high in carbs. I would suggest brown rice, but anything that is grounding can also come from that. I will also suggest doing probiotics if you haven't, because sometimes we take medications or anti-probiotics or whatever you want to call it, not anti-probiotics, antibacteria, whatever, or medications. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong, forgive me. But we do take these medications. They get rid of the good bacteria in our gut. Not only just good, but the bad. They just wipe us clean. We have to develop that. And sometimes because we have important nutrients or enzymes that are gone and missing, that it can cause certain sensitivities or allergies to come up and develop. Another aspect of grounding I like to mention in regards to diet and food is teas. Teas have been very effective for me, and I know it has been very effective for others. A lot of us are familiar with drinking lavender and chamomile tea. I would definitely say give teas, herbal teas, a try. To this day, I am learning to actually work with teas on a more energetic and spiritual way. Bringing things together and seeing what works with my body, what I may need. I'm actually compiling a list of what I sense and feel from them. I would definitely say that teas has taught me a lot about my body, definitely helping me to connect, the gut and the brain and everything else. When I'm dealing with things in my head or in my brain, chamomile and lavender is very helpful. When I want to balance or ground myself, I definitely use cinnamon and turmeric, sometimes ginger. Ginger is a very powerful one that definitely stands out to me, especially in dealing with, dense energies that are trying to interact with me. And so, all of that being said and done, I definitely respect plants and life a little bit more, considering how it pretty much saved my life. I'm working with, correcting some things in my body by eating healthy, and continue to work with teas, because teas and herbs and plants in general could be very grounding, very balancing, and very beneficial for our health. So with that, I will suggest teas on your way to learning how to ground, balance, and center yourself in your own life. Now I want to move on to the emotional and mental work that you can do. Now, when it comes to grounding our emotional and mental selves, this can go in many directions, but I want you to also find something that works best for you. And the first thing I will say is attitude. Attitude is everything, because attitude will help us to be able to really ground ourselves, our minds here. Sometimes understanding can help, sometimes forgiveness can help, but understanding and forgiveness doesn't always have to be the prerequisite. Sometimes they come after the fact. So what I'm saying is that sometimes you have to do your own work, or maybe seeing a therapist will help, or maybe doing your own therapy. You can become your own therapist in a way and help you to dissolve certain things. Now, when it comes to affirmations, I'm going to say the same thing about the mind. When we are using affirmations, don't use affirmations to block the suppressed material. When I was working with certain energies, and there were certain energies manipulating my shadow self, I found that certain affirmations were intentionally suppressing my energies and certain were releasing them. So I focus on the affirmations that help me to release energy, then not only release energy, directing my energy and moving forward with that energy. So we are releasing, we're using affirmations here to release. We're using affirmations not only to release, but also to direct. And we are building confidence. Having confidence in ourselves will help us to definitely be grounded in our emotional and mental selves. We develop courage, confidence. The word resolve comes to mind. I don't know why. But we're developing these things to push forward and be grounded in ourselves so we can tackle life on. When things emotionally come up, we can deal with it. We can handle it. We can release it. Let it come. Let ourselves feel it with courage and, commitment, being committed to our development, being grounded there. And also, being able to push forward with our energy. So we're learning about our energy and then directing that energy. And sometimes for some of us, we have to do this on a daily basis. We have to do this as soon as we wake up in the morning and before we go to sleep. It is practice, it is work, but it is like that bowling effect. Once you hit that snowball and it starts going down, it builds up and there's a momentum that you can keep going. You start feeling and sensing a field around you. So what I'm saying is that working with yourself and working with the mind and the emotional and grounding that aspect can help us to be grounded in our lives. And there are many more emotional and mental exercises we can do and talk about, but you can go on Google, or I may talk about them later. I'll definitely like to talk about them later. The next thing and the final thing that I would like to talk about in grounding ourselves is dealing with the spiritual, dealing with energy. And some of us who are here may be learning about energy sensitivity, trying to develop their energy practice, or, energy. Energy work is a great thing. Learning about it, learning about your own energy, expanding upon that, focusing on the various energies you are and merging them and bringing them together and moving them will help you to actually not only expand but to elevate your energy, and also being able to help others. That's the wonderful thing about it. You're not only just healing yourself, you can help others to help heal themselves, to learn how to help themselves. So when it comes to energy work, learning how to work through all the chakras, I would say start from the root and then build yourself up to the crown chakra, and then releasing, activating, releasing or clearing. I would say expanding, then balancing. Try that every single morning you get up on all of them. You can focus on the subtle bodies, doing the clearing on them, merging them, bringing it all here. Breathing techniques, you are merging all of this, and this will always help you to be more grounded in your life. And you'll notice that you'll feel better. You'll feel much cleaner, much better. It takes time, it takes effort, but once you start getting on that momentum, it gets easier and easier, and you can just be like, no, I'm gonna do this. There were times where I was doing a lot of energy work as I was just moving on the go. I'm like, I don't have time. I used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, had to be at work by 6 o'clock, and I wouldn't go to bed till sometimes 10, 12 o'clock at night. And sometimes I wouldn't have nothing but 4 hours of sleep many nights. But I had to learn how to ground and do a lot of energy work and a lot of eating healthy on the go. So with that, these are some of the grounding things that you can do. If y'all would like for me to talk about more grounding techniques, definitely like, subscribe, and comment below and ask me what you want me to discuss. I'm probably going to mention some things in any way in upcoming videos, definitely look out for some other content. I definitely like to do some cooking videos. I've been saying that for the longest time. I like to do some cooking videos, but also I like to talk about other things and show you my vlogs. I like to travel. I like to show y'all where I'm at. You know, we all going through a lot of intense things and intense times, but you know, sometimes we need a breather, and I like to go out and breathe and show you my experience. I enjoy sharing myself with you. So if y'all definitely like this video, definitely again, I'm sorry, I hate to repeat myself, like, subscribe, and comment below, and I'll be seeing you all another day. With that, see ya, bye.